Good day, sir. This is the presentation of Group 3 titled Globalization, Demography, and Global Migration and Global Citizenship. Disclaimer. This video presentation is for educational purposes only, as compliance with our competency in Socio 101. We allow our instructor, Roldan Ardines, to use this as an educational material. Presentation members: Cadet Namuko Patrick Lloyd, Cadet Haka Jan Del Rey, Cadet Tumada Alf, Cadet Oranyo GC Miles, and Cadet Sikuya Harvey. So, let's discuss about what is global demography. Global demography refers to the study of population dynamics and characteristics on a global scale. It involves analyzing the size structure, distribution, and trends of population around the world. Key factors that demographers examine includes birth rates, death rates, fertility rates, life expectancy, migration patterns, and age distribution. Understanding global demography is crucial for governments, policymakers, and organizations, as it helps them make informed decisions about resources allocation, social policies, healthcare, education, and infrastructure development. It also provides insight into the challenges of opportunities presented by population changes such as aging populations, urbanization, and demographic imbalances. For example, is the problem for the South Korea about their population, because many of Korean women are not into families and not into pregnancy. That's why the Korean government is very concerned about their population because it is decreasing. So, next is global migration. Global migration refers to the movement of individuals or groups across national borders in search of better opportunities, including economic, social, or political reasons. Migration has been a significant aspect of human history, and in today's interconnected world, it continues to shape societies, economies, and cultures worldwide. There are various types of global migrations, including labor migration, refugee migrations, family reunification, and irregular migration. Push and pull factors influence migration flows, such as economic disparities, political instability, armed conflict, environmental changes, and demographic imbalances. Migration can have both positive and negative impacts, including economic growth, cultural diversity, brain drain, social integration, challenges, and humanitarian crisis. Perfect example of global migration is the OFWs. Our overseas Filipino workers have migrated over the last few decades because they are seeking of many opportunities on other countries. For example, USA. There are so many nurses, Filipino nurses, working on the United States of America because of the big salary and the big opportunities. Global citizenship. Global citizenship refers to the idea that individuals have responsibilities and rights beyond national borders, and that they should actively engage in global issues and contribute to a more just and sustainable world. It involves recognizing the interconnectedness of the global community and promoting values such as human rights, environmental stewardship, social justice, and peace. Global citizenship embraces a sense of shared responsibility for addressing global challenges such as poverty, inequality, climate change, and conflicts. They may participate in advocacy activism, volunteer work, or support organizations and initiatives that promote positive change at local, national, and international levels. Global citizenship also emphasizes respect for diversity, cultural understanding, and empathy towards people from different backgrounds and nations. Promoting global citizenship can foster collaborations, mutual understanding, and collective action to tackle global problems. It encourages individuals to think beyond national boundaries and consider the well-being of the entire planet and inhabitants. A perfect example of global citizenship is the foreigners living in Philippines or the Filipinos living in the other countries. For example, here in the Philippines, there are so many what we call Indians. The race Indians are living here because of they proceed here in living because they have many businesses, and they have also migrating here because in their country it is so much corrupt in their government rather than the Philippines. So the next is explain the theory of demographic transition as it affects global population. The theory of demographic transition describes the historical and ongoing process of population change in countries as they undergo economic and social development. It illustrates the relationship between population dynamics, stages of economic development. The theory suggests that countries experience a consistent pattern of population changes as they progress through distinct stages. So what it is? The demographic transition theory typically identifies four main stages. Stage 1, pre-industrial society. In this stage, birth rates and death rates are higher, resulting in slow population growth. This is due to limited access to healthcare, high infant mortality rates, and lack of family planning. The population remains relatively stable. So, pre-industrial society, it means that there's other country that there's other country that lacks of family planning. For example, the India. The India has so many populations. There are over 1 billion population in their country because of lack of family planning and limited access to the healthcare. So, stage 2, early industrialization. As countries start to experience industrialization and improvement in healthcare and sanitation, mortality rates begin to decline while birth rates remain high. This leads to rapid population growth. This stage is often associated with improvement in public health, such as access to clean water and vaccination. So, in this early industrialization, this is opposite of pre-industrialization society. This means that the country experience of rapid growth of population. Stage 3, mature industrialization. In this stage, birth rate starts to decline as the result of social changes, including increased urbanization, improved education, and access to the family planning. Urbanization often leads to a shift in values, with smaller families becoming more desirable. Mortality rates continues to decline or stabilize. Population growth rates begins to slow down. So in this mature industrialization, in this stage, the country experience the balance between the early and the pre-industrial society. So the people around the country knows what to do. Just like there are family plannings, they have the access of healthcare and slowdown of population rate and mortality rate. Stage 4, post-industrial society. Birth and death rates are both low, resulting in a stable or slow-growing population. This stage is characterized by a well-developed economy, advanced healthcare system, high levels of education, and widespread access to contraception. The population reaches a state of equilibrium where births and deaths roughly balance each other. So, in this post-industrial society, I have the example of Japan. Japan have the low death and birth rates. So, it is balanced. Unlike Philippines, we have so much birth rate and low on death rates. That is why Philippines is much called overpopulated country. It is important to note that not all countries followed the exact trajectory of the demographic transition theory. Some countries may experience variation due to unequal cultural, economic, or political factors. That is true because not all countries are teaches ways of finding the solution. Example is Philippines. Here in the Philippines, we don't have the sex education, and some of our Filipinos are so ignorant of contraceptives, while the other countries are so open-minded about contraceptives and family planning. That's why other countries are less populated and more economic growth than our country.
Analyze the political, economic, cultural, and social factors underlying the global movements of people and display first-hand knowledge of the experience of OFW. Economic opportunities by many global movements of people, including overseas Filipino workers, are driven by political factors such as limited economic opportunities in their home countries, political instability, corruption, and inadequate job prospects can push individuals to seek employment abroad. And the government policies, the political decision made both sending and receiving countries significantly influence the movement of people. Sending countries may establish policies and agreements with destination countries to regulate the migration process, to protect their citizens abroad and ensure the welfare of OFW. International relations. Diplomatic relations between the countries can impact the flow of migration. Bilateral agreements, labor markets, and geopolitical factors shape the opportunities and the constraints faced by OFW. Economic factors. Wage disparities. Economic factor play a crucial role in driving the movement of people. Wage disparities between sending and receiving countries often motivate to individuals to seek employment opportunities abroad where they can earn higher incomes to support their families and improve their standard of living. Globalization and labor demand. Globalization has created an interconnected world economy resulting in increased labor mobility. Economic factors such as demand for specific skills or sectors in receiving countries driven by the migration of workers, including the RFWs who possess the required expertise. The remittance. Economic factors are infinite with the phenomenon of remittance, where the RFW sends money back to their home countries. These financial inflows can contribute significantly to the national economies of sending countries and serve our source of foreign exchange. Cultural factors. Social networks. Cultural factors such as existing social networks influence migration patterns. RFWs often follow the family or community member who have successfully migrated as they can provide support, guidance, and connection in the host country. Cultural adaptation. Migration to the different culture involves navigating cultural differences, language barriers, and social norms. Cultural factors shape the experience of OFWs, affecting their ability to integrate into the host society and influence their overall well-being. Identity and belonging. Cultural factors also influence the sense of identity and belonging of OFWs. They may face challenges in maintaining their cultural heritage while adapting to the cultural norms of the host country. Social factors. Social inequality. Social factors, including poverty and inequality and lack of access to basic service, can contribute to the decision to migrate. OFWs often come from disadvantaged backgrounds, seeking better social and economic conditions for themselves and their families. Family dynamics. Social factors related to the dynamics can influence migration patterns. Many OFW leave their families behind and experience the strain of being separated from their loved ones. And economic motivation and the desire to provide for their families often drive this decision. Discrimination and social integration. OFWs may face discrimination and social challenges in the host countries, including limited access to social service, language barriers, and cultural biases. These factors can affect their well-being and integration into the local community. So, first-hand knowledge of the OFW experience. So, having a knowledge cut-off in September 2021, I do not possess the first-hand knowledge of recent experience of OFWs. However, The OFWs often share common experience, including the low-skilled or domestic jobs, facing labor exploitation, dealing with homesickness and isolation, and encountering various challenges related to the cultural adjustments and social integration. It is important to note that the experience of OFWs can vary widely depending on their individual circumstance, the country of destination, and the specific job sector they are employed in. Articulate a person a definition of global citizenship and appreciate the ethical obligation of global citizenship. So, what is global migration in the contemporary world? Global citizenship obligations, in many view, is multi-phase concept that embodies of the sense of interconnected responsibility and engagement with the broader world beyond the national borders. It goes beyond more recognition of one's nationality and encompasses a deep understanding and appreciation of our shared humanity, irrespectively of cultural, geographical, or political differences. At its core, global citizenship entails recognizing that we are all part of global community and that our actions have consequences that reach far beyond our immediate surroundings. It involves embracing diversity and promoting exclusively, respecting and valuing the dignity and the rights of individuals, regardless of nationality, race, religion, or socio-economic background. Ethical obligations are inherent to global citizenship as they reflect the recognition of our collective responsibility to address pressing global challenges. These obligations include promoting social justice. Global citizens are committed to advocating for equal opportunities, fair distribution of resources, and the eradication of poverty, discrimination, and inequality. They strive to build societies where the individual can thrive and reach their full potential. So next is the environmental stewardship. Global citizens acknowledge the finite nature of our planet's resources and the urgent need for sustainable practices. They take proactive measurements to protect the environment, combat climate change, and preserve biodiversity for future generations. Humanitarianism and solidarity. Global citizens exhibit empathy and compassion, recognizing that the well-being of others is interconnected with their own. They support humanitarian causes, response to crisis, and the work towards the alleviation of suffering irrespective of geographic boundaries. Promoting peace and understanding. Global citizens foster dialogue, tolerance, and mutual respect among the different cultures, religion, and ideologies. They actively seek peaceful and solution to conflicts, challenges stereotypes, and promote the values of diversity and inclusion. Active civic engagement. Global citizens understand the importance of active participation in the democratic process of their countries in the global arena. They engage in informed discussion, exercise their own rights and responsibilities as citizens, and advocate for positive change at local, national, and international levels. In essence, global citizenship entails embracing a broader perspective that transcends narrow self-interest and acknowledging our role as member of a global community, and it requires requires us to recognize the ethical obligation we have towards each other and the planet, fostering sense of shared responsibility to create a more just, sustainable, and peaceful.
Good day, sir. This is Cadet Oranyo. The topic that I will discuss is what are the four types of global migration. First, economic migration. Economic migration refers to the movement of individuals or group of the people from one country to another in search of better economic opportunities. It often occurs when individuals migrate to find employment, higher wage, or better living standards. Economic migrants may be skilled or unskilled workers, entrepreneur, or professional seeking career advancement. Second, forced migration. Forced migration is also known as involuntary migration. It involves the displacement of individuals or groups due to factors behind their control. It can be caused by conflicts, war, persecution, natural disasters, or other causes. First, migrants often flee their home in search of safety, security, and protection. This category includes refugees and seekers, internally displaced persons, and stateless individuals. Third, family reunification. Family reunification migration occurs when individual or families migrate to join their relative who are already residing in another country. It is a common form of migration where family members, such as spouses, parents, children, or siblings, reunite with their loved ones. Family reunification policies are often in place to facilitate this type of migration. Fourth, environmental migration. Environmental migration is driven by the impact of environmental factors such as climate change, natural disasters, and environment degradation. People may be forced to move due to the loss of livelihood caused by drought, floods, rising sea levels, desertification, or other environmental challenges. Environmental migrations can occur both within our countries, international migration, and across national borders, international migration. It's important to note that these categories are not manually exclusive, and individuals or groups may experience multiple factors influencing their decision to migrate. Additionally, there may be other subcategories or types of migration depending on specific contexts or circumstances.
So, why there is a global migration? So, global migration occurs due to a variety of factors including social, economic, political, and environmental reasons. Here are some key reasons why global migration takes place. So, first, economic opportunities. People often migrate in search of better economic prospects. They may leave their home countries to find employment, higher wage, and improved living standards. Elsewhere, economic disparities between countries and regions can drive individuals to seek better opportunities in more prosperous areas. And second, conflict and political instability. So political instability, armed conflict, persecution, and human rights violation can force people to flee their home countries. Individuals seek safety and protection in other nations as refuge or as asylum seekers, hoping to escape violence, oppressions, or discriminations. And the third, demographic factors. Demographic imbalances such as differences in population, growth rates, or age distribution can lead to migration. For instance, countries with aging populations and low birth rates may experience labor shortage and seek to attract foreign workers to address these gaps. And fourth, environmental factors. So environmental changes and nature disaster can displace people, climate change, rising sea levels, drought, floods, and other environmental challenges can make certain areas uninhabitable, leading to climate refuge who are forced to migrate in search of safer environments. And 5. Education and research opportunities. Migration can be driven by the pursuit of educational opportunities and access to research institutions. Students and scholars often migrate to countries known for their esteemed universities, research facilities, and academic. So 6 is family reunification. So family reunification is another significant driver of global migration. Individuals may migrate to join family members who have already settled in another country, seeking to be together and enjoy the benefits of family life in a new location. So lastly, health and healthcare. So access to quality healthcare, medical treatment, and improved health conditions can motivate people to migrate. Individuals may seek better healthcare facilities or move to countries with advanced medical systems for personal health reasons. It is important to note that global migration is a complex issue influenced by numerous interrelated factors, and the motivation behind migration can vary significantly from one individual to another.
Good day, sir. I'm Decadent Harvey Sikuya. I'm going to discuss what are the advantages and disadvantages of sending and receiving countries. Advantages and disadvantages of sending and receiving countries in the context of global demography, global migration, and global citizenship can vary on depending several factors. Here are some general advantages and disadvantages for both sending and receiving countries. Advantages for sending countries. Remittances. Migration can lead to the significant financial inflows in the form of remittances, as migrants often send money back to their home countries. This remittance can contribute to economic development, poverty reduction, and improved living standard. Number 2, brain gain. Brain gain, when highly skilled individuals migrate, it can result in a brain gain for sending countries. These individuals may acquire new knowledge, skills, and experiences abroad, which they can bring back to their home countries, potentially enhancing local innovation and development. Number 3, reduce unemployment. Migration can alleviate domestic unemployment by providing job opportunities abroad, reducing pressure on domestic labor market. Number 4, diaspora network. Migration can lead to the formation of diaspora communities abroad, which can play a significant role in fostering economic, cultural, and potential connection between the sending and receiving countries. This network can facilitate trade, investment, and knowledge exchange. Disadvantages for sending countries. Brain drain. The migration of skilled workers can result a brain drain, depleting the sending countries of its talented workforce. This loss of human capital can hinder economic growth and development. Number 2, dependency on remittances. Some sending countries may become overly reliant on remittances as source of income. This dependency can create vulnerabilities in economy, especially if remittance flows decrease or become inconsistent. Number 3, social consequences. The departure of young skilled individuals can lead to social challenges, including a skewed age distribution, reduced access to the healthcare and education, and potential social unrest. So, let's move on to the advantages for receiving countries. Number 1, growth. Number 1, economic growth. Immigration can contribute to economic growth by filling labor market gaps, increasing productivity, and driving innovation. Immigrants often take on jobs that are difficult to fill domestically, thereby supporting industries and boosting economic activity. Number 2, demographic stability. In countries with declining birth rates and aging population, immigration can help mitigate the demographic challenges by providing a younger workforce and supporting the social welfare system. Number 3, cultural diversity. Immigration enriches the cultural fabric of receiving countries by introducing new languages, traditions, perspectives, and culinary influences. This diversity can enhance social cohesion and foster multicultural understanding. Disadvantages for receiving countries. Number 1, strain on resources. The arrival of large numbers of immigrants can strain public resources, such as healthcare, education, housing, and social services. This strain can lead to increased competition for these resources and potentially generate social tension. Number 2, integration challenges. Integrating immigrants into received society can pose challenges related to language barriers, cultural differences, and social cohesion. Failure to address these challenges adequately can result in segregation and marginalization. Number 3, economic displacement. In some cases, the influx of immigrants may lead to the job market competition and wage pressures for certain segments for domestic workforce, potentially resulting in economic displacement or perceived threats to job security. Note, it's important to note that advantages and disadvantages can vary significantly based on specific circumstances, such as the scale and composition of migration, the socio-economic context of the sending and receiving countries, and the policies in place to manage migration and promote integration. That's all, guys. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.